I'm calling this meeting of the Senate Standing Committee on Licensing and Occupation to order. A couple things, housekeeping things. Please have your phones on silence, obviously. If you want to speak for or against the bill that we're hearing, please sign the sheet so that we have your name and make sure that you're heard. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Douglas. Senator Higdon. Senator Hornback. Senator Howell. Senator McDaniel. Senator Neal. Senator Nemus.
Present.
Senator Thayer.
Here.
Senator Thomas. Chair Schickel.
Present. We do have a quorum and are duly constituted to conduct business. Do any members have any introductions? For those of you who are here, housekeeping, we are going to be passing over several bills. I've made the decision, in case you're here for one of these bills, I don't want you to sit through the whole thing and then find out, so I'm going to read them off. House Bill 61 will be passed over. House Bill 77 will be passed over. House Bill 95 will be passed over. And House Bill 192 will be passed over. The first item on the agenda is Senate Bill 160, an act relating to the sale of alcoholic beverages and declaring an emergency. And this is my bill, and I'm going to make the presentation from up here. Where are my talking points? It's not right. Senate Bill 160 has to do with what we commonly call in the industry barrel picks, but that is kind of shop talk. What has happened, and this issue is not new to anybody on the committee, but it may be new to people that are watching or are in the audience. What it has to do with was when we changed administrations in the Alcohol Beverage Control Department, the executive branch, there was another interpretation of the law which governs these things that the previous administration did not do. So we were in the situation of an industry that was doing something that was not set out in statutes that they were allowed to do. So I worked hard with ABC and all the stakeholders to resolve it. I was not able to resolve it. Obviously, we want to always do everything we do legally. And so I asked the LRC attorneys and the ABC attorneys to draft a narrow statute, which is Senate Bill 160, which would allow the distillers to continue doing the barrel picks as they had been doing for years. I'm not sure how many years, and now I want to ask Chris Nolan to come forward from the Distillers Association, and what he's going to do is explain to us that don't know exactly what a barrel pick is, so we know what we're talking about. Welcome to this committee, Chris, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chris Nolan with the Kentucky Distillers Association. And this bill in barrel picks is one of several priorities related to privileges that our distillers have this session. And barrel picks are the backbone of the industry, and it's the future of the bourbon industry, because I think as everybody on this committee knows that you can have the same distillate and you can put it in barrels and you can put it in the warehouse next to each other, and it ages for 4, 5, 10, 12 years. And the two barrels that are next to each other, once you pull them, can taste completely different. And that's the unique part of the aging process that happens with bourbon. And so barrel picks are very unique, and it's the process where whether it's a liquor store or a restaurant or a bar or an individual can go to a distillery, and the distillery will pick a handful of barrels, usually anywhere from 4 to 10, out of the warehouse in various spots, and pull them, and then you can taste from each barrel. And the consumer that's there to purchase a single barrel, that's why they're called barrel picks, gets to taste from each barrel and gets to taste the flavor differences in each barrel. And then they decide which barrel they would like to buy. And so they pick the barrel that has a unique flavor that they like, and then that barrel is then bottled, and all those bottles come from just that one barrel. So that's why they are a barrel pick. They're very popular in our industry, and the contents of what's in those bottles is unique to just that barrel. So no other bourbon in the world will taste like just that one barrel.
Thank you for that great explanation of this very popular thing. And I'm going to read exactly what this bill does in layman's terms. It codifies what distilleries are already doing with barrel select sales, aka private selection sales. Distillers may hold private selection events to sell private selection packages. Sales to consumers, retailers, and wholesalers must use the three-tier system, and they are exempt from wholesale taxes. And they may sell private selections to distillery visitors through their gift shops. And finally, fixes language for a direct shipper to send samples. So those are the things the bill does in layman's terms. And we do have some questions. And Senator Thomas, I believe, was the first one to raise his hand.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Chris, I think you've answered my question now. When you pick this barrel, to use your language, you don't bring the barrel home. Is that right?
That's correct. The barrel is processed at the distillery, so it's dumped into a vat, and then that vat is then put into bottles, and it's labeled, and then it goes into case goods, and then it's delivered through the three-tier system to the retailer where it's picked up. That's how it's currently done today.
Okay.
Senator Thayer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you bringing this bill, and I was also happy to sign on as primary co-sponsor. And it's really regrettable that we have to deal with this. I disagree with the Alcohol and Beverage Commission's interpretation of the statute. It's just ironic how the private barrel selection program under existing statute has existed through multiple governors and multiple ABC commissioners, but now this administration and this ABC has decided that they don't think what has been going on for years and is a major growth area is not somehow according to statute. So it is important to do this because as bourbon continues its ascent in popularity, a lot of hard to find bourbon is becoming more hard to find, and so consumers look to stores, restaurants, bars, for these barrel picks because it has an aura of uniqueness about it, and they're becoming more and more popular. So I know that the KDA has a lot of other legislative initiatives that they would like to see us pass this year that would continue to remove the artificial barriers to free enterprise, Mr. Chairman, that we've talked about. But it's unfortunate that we have to focus our efforts on passing a bill like this to keep something that we're already doing. But that is the situation we are faced with, and I urge all the members to vote aye. And if it's in order, sir, I'd make a motion that Senate Bill 160 be reported favorably. Motion same shall pass.
It is in order. Thank you for a motion. Did I hear a second? Let the record reflect Senator Adams has seconded the motion. So we do have a motion and a second. And Senator Hornback, further discussion or question?
More of a comment, Mr. Chairman.
Proceed.
I want to thank the sponsor for bringing this bill to us because I think it is a great sponsor. And like the floor leader said, this is a big growth area for the state. We need to do what we can to encourage it, and I appreciate his work on it. The one thing that I think in the future, in another year, because the time is too short this year to do it, but the one complaint I've had about barrel picks and the way they're done, we do have some license holders, the alcohol beverage license holders, that maybe just have one barrel pick a year, but they hold a license for that, which since we are communities only have a certain number of licenses available. I think it'd be a good idea if in the future, if we looked at possibly making a different class of license, or a license that didn't count against a community for the number of licenses they have, if the only thing you're doing is a barrel pick. That would open up more retail stores, give it opportunity for some of those. I know right here in Franklin County, that has been a concern. So something to look at for another year, so we can have a interim meeting at the chairman's request to do that. But I think it's something we ought to look at.
I appreciate you bringing it up, Senator Hornback, and I know this is something that's been on your mind for a long time. In fact, we did have a bill about it, and we did have an interim hearing about it, and it continues to be a concern of yours. A concern of yours is a concern of mine. So we will continue to address that and hopefully make some progress on it if we can.
Just to follow up, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to be here next year, so I'm going to count on you to carry it.
I couldn't carry your briefcase. We're going to miss you, that's for sure. Is there anyone that wants to speak against this bill? We had several others that had wanted to speak in support, but I learned a long time ago when you have the votes to move on, and I've talked to, I think, almost everyone on the committee about this personally over the weekend. So we have a motion and a second. I want to thank the ABC for being here. I believe they're on remotely, right? Oh, they're here. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I want to point out that this legislation was done in conjunction with their lawyers to make sure that we didn't have the same problem again. So thank you for being here. Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Senator Rocky Adams, Senator Douglas, Senator Higdon,
May I explain my aye vote?
Vote and explain.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I vote aye. The legislative intent when we passed this legislation some time back was exactly what's passing now. So just want to make sure that we get it right, and this is a very important piece of legislation. Thank you.
Senator Hornback, Senator Howell,
Aye.
Senator McDaniel,
Aye.
Senator Neal, Senator Nemus, Senator Thayer,
Aye.
Senator Thomas, Chairman Schickel.
Aye. We have 11 yea votes. Let the record reflect that Senate Bill 160 is passed with favorable expression. Is there a motion to put it on consent?
No.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
this needs to be on the order.
Very well. So we will not do that. I also want to point out about, before we move on to the next item on the agenda, that this particular legislation, one of the great things about when you have an industry that's booming, and we have a lot of sectors of our industry, of our alcohol industry, and all of them are booming. Sometimes you have disagreements, and that this particular bill, it seemed like it was supported by all the sectors, and I'm very thankful for that. Thank you. Representative Kim Banta, come up. Thank you for your patience. We've heard this bill I don't know how many times, and so I'm glad that we could finally address it. We love the CPAs, and it's an honor to have you before us. Introduce yourself for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Thank you, Senator Schickel, for hearing this bill. My name is Kim Banta, 63rd. I represent the 63rd in the House. And my guests?
Thank you. I'm Joe Donahue, the Executive Director of the Kentucky State Board of Accountancy.
Good morning. I'm Anthony Allen with the Kentucky Society of Certified Public Accountants. I'm the Government Affairs Director.
Okay, this bill has about 3 or 4 moving parts. It's pretty simple. It has liability immunity for the board as long as they're performing their function in good faith. It allows them to give scholarships to support accounting-related scholarship programs and assist students enrolled in Kentucky-based colleges. And it has reciprocity. So HB 275 would eliminate the requirement that out-of-state CPAs seeking to acquire Kentucky state license reciprocity obtain the 1 year of experience in accounting or auditing position. And within 5 years of successfully passing the CPA exam, we know we have shortages in all our areas, and that is the bill in a nutshell. So unless you have questions for myself or my guests.
Well, we've heard this bill at least once during the interim, and I think maybe even more than that. So I think everyone's familiar with it. I do have one question. Where does the money for the scholarships come from?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It will come from the operating budget of the state board. However, there will be a provision that we will be good in delivering all our services, and it will not have any impact on the day-to-day operations of the board.
As I think I mentioned the last hearing, I do have some concerns about that. I don't know that we have any other boards doing that, and I don't know that. I just do have some concerns about that. Senator Neal?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Just curious, is there something unique that the ask in this bill is to have sovereign or some immunity with respect to your board?
No, Senator, and thank you for the question. It actually brings us back in line with several licensing boards throughout the state, the Board of Pharmacy, the Board of Medical Licensure. It's pretty standard, and we're kind of the outlier in not having it, Senator, and we're trying to bring it up.
And that's why I couldn't search and find a reason why you would have to do that. I thought it always was pretty standard, but okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? So I want to get back to this scholarship. So the money would come from the operating budget. It wouldn't be raised.
Correct.
Okay. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak against this bill? Madam Secretary, call the roll. Oh, I'm sorry.
Motion on the bill.
Oh, thank you. We have a motion by Senator Thayer. Thank you. Let the record reflect. A second by Senator Adams. And thank you, Mr. Floor Leader, for that very important point of order. Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Douglas. Senator Higdon. Senator Hornback. Senator Howell. Senator McDaniel. Senator Neal. Senator Nemus. Senator Thayer. Senator Thomas. Chairman Schickel.
Aye. And I'll entertain a motion for consent.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor use the voting sign of aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, like sign. Let the record reflect it will be on consent. And the House Bill 275 is passed with favorable expression. I can't remember if I already said that or not, but if I didn't, I want to. Is there any more business to come before the committee before we adjourn?
I just need to thank you. Thanks.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you for being here on time and your testimony. Is there any more business to come before the committee? Anticipate a heavy agenda next week. We stand adjourned.